spend a shocking amount of our lives sitting. According to recent studies, the average American adult sits for over 10 hours a day. And if you work at a desk job or commute, that number can be even higher. The scary part? Prolonged sitting is linked to heart disease, diabetes, anxiety, depression, even premature death. It's been called the new smoking. But the good news is the fix doesn't have to be extreme. In this episode, we're talking about how neat those small everyday movements can interrupt all that sitting, wake up your body, boost your energy, and help undo the silent damage of the chair life. And now welcome Greg Burwell, to the founder of Zero Sweat Fitness, who is joining us by phone for this episode. Hey, Greg, help us understand how neat can make a big impact on how we feel and live.
A huge impact. We spend most of our time being sedentary throughout the day, and then we try to make it up if we belong to a gym or if we want to run, but we still can't offset the hours spent being sedentary. That doesn't work as far as math. So we get further and further behind, and we get frustrated, and we continue to gain weight and have other problems related to gaining weight and obesity, high blood pressure, cholesterol, elevated cholesterol levels. So the idea is to start small, which is neat, and to keep moving, because someone once described it, motion is lotion. So we got to keep moving to move the joints, keep the joints active. A lot of people have rheumatoid arthritis or osteoarthritis, and the key, anyone will tell you, any orthopedist will tell you, you have to keep moving that joint or it's going to get worse. It'll stiffen up and it'll lock out. So the key is to start movement and moving, and incrementally small, and increase movement over time. Each hour over time, we want to increase our movement.
Yeah, in today's episode, we're actually targeting people who sit. That's what their job requires. They have to sit to do their job. So I'm curious how much you guys feel like you sit, how many hours a day, if you factor in your working, your commuting, watching TV. If you think about all the sitting you do, how many hours do you think that is a day? And feel free to introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Gwen. I'm that's kind of a difficult question to answer, but I would say at least 15, because
sorry, I didn't mean to gasp.
because I work a desk job, so that's 8 right there, and then my commute is an hour long, so we're at least 10. So
there you go.
I would say when I'm relaxing, I'm probably more laying down than sitting. I can't imagine that's any better though.
Good point. Wow. Okay, so that's a lot. Okay, Yvette.
Okay, well, hello. My name is Yvette Francis, and I am the founder of Happen to Life. If you think of the saying, life happens, we believe in the opposite. So really excited to talk about this topic as I'm trying to be more intentional about my moving. So to answer the question, I would say about 7 hours a day.
Okay, that's not terrible. When you consider the average is 10 hours a day.
Well, great point, except, right, I am an entrepreneur. So I do have a little bit more ownership and say over my time, and I'm still sitting for 7 hours. And so I'm a work in progress.
I was going to say you being a little hard on yourself, but I can relate to that. I think we all can relate to that. Mm-hmm. Interesting. I'm trying to think. I need to ask myself that question. It depends. Because I'm a realtor, my schedule can change like with the wind. Somebody calls and all of a sudden you've got to go show 3 homes that was not on your plan for the day, and everything gets rearranged. But on a day-to-day basis, between sitting at my computer and doing sort of admin paperwork, emails, and planning and all that stuff, oh my gosh, I want to say definitely I'm in the 8 to 9 hours a day. But I have been implementing some zero sweat, some neat movements. I'm not perfect at it. I definitely still catch myself getting stuck in that stillness, and especially if I'm really hyper focused on something, I forget all about movement. But sometimes I have really set my timer on my phone to go off every 5 minutes. And then if I'm actually at my office, there are lights that cut off on you if you're still. I don't know what the time frame is, but they go off on me all the time. So that reminds me, I'm like, okay, the lights just cut off. So that means I need to wiggle, I need to move, stretch, do something, get up. And that has been helpful. Have you ever gotten through an entire day and realized you barely moved? Does that happen to you pretty regularly? You're like, I already told you I spend 15 hours a day. You do the math.
I do a lot better than I used to, because I try to be intentional about it. But it's
Remind
a
us
lot
where you
more
work,
than I'd
because I
like.
feel like that helps you become.
So I'm an accounting technician. So I work for the public health department. So thankfully, they do encourage us to get up and move around, and they want us to not just sit in one position all the time.
And that makes so much sense to the public health department. They should be focused on their employees' health.
Absolutely.
And the fact that the public health department is aware of the dangers of sitting and is encouraging their employees to have physical activity, that says something right there.
Definitely.
I feel like that's something that most employers, it's harder when we're self-employed, right?
Yes.
But most employers, I think, should implement something like that. It would be really helpful. In fact, Greg, I'm pretty sure you have worked with different corporations on creating wellness programs for the employees based upon the science that shows that the more active we are and the healthier we are physically, the more productive we are, which could only benefit employers.
Exactly, and the fewer times away from work as a result of some sort of ailment or sickness. So sick days are reduced as well. So the more mobile people are, the more active they are, the fewer times they'll need to take time off of work because they're sick. And the number one injury for most people is the lower back. So that's another component that if we're more active and we're strengthening our core, we're less inclined to injure our back.
That makes well, speaking of injuries, where do you guys feel it most when you've been sitting for a prolonged period?
For me, it's always my shoulders and my neck.
Do you feel tight or?
Very tense. I think I'm hunched over. I'm kind of making myself smaller and just like so focused. And it's like all of the focus is on what's going on in my mind, that all of that is very tense.
Yeah. I started experiencing something like that, and I bought a contraption to put my laptop up on so that I'm not doing this as much. And it has definitely helped here, but then I find that I have issues with, the typing. So then I'm like, well, do I need to buy a keyboard? But it's crazy how we have to think about the ergonomics. What about you? What do you feel?
I think for me, it's brain fog, right? It's just really needing to step away because everything's a blur. Kind of finding myself distracted on social media. I think that's often an indication it's time to get up.
You're right. You're right. I find myself, I don't even know sometimes when it happened or what I did, but I'm scrolling on my phone. I'm not even that aware of what I'm watching when I'm scrolling.
Yes.
But sometimes it'll hit me and I'm like, what am I doing? I was working and now I'm scrolling. When did that happen? So maybe you're right. Maybe that's a cue to get up and hit the refresh button.
I like that you mentioned the timer. I've tried to do that, but then I don't like the sound of the alarm. So I turn it off and then I keep working. So that has not worked for me.
Can you change the sound?
Of course I can. But what's been helpful is to get a standing desk.
Oh, yeah.
And so that has helped me a lot. And now I spend half of the day standing, half of the day sitting. That's where the 7 hours comes in. But I have a standing desk. So then look at that.
So are you saying you're not using this?
I'm saying I could use it more.
Okay.
For sure.
I gotcha. Well, I mean, we talk a lot about giving ourselves grace because I think the key to success, and women in particularly, and I'm not saying that men don't do this, but I feel like women in particularly are very hard on themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And we set the bar way high, and if we don't achieve that way high goal, we beat ourselves up. We are intense. In fact, it's one of the reasons why there's all kinds of groups you can join in my office where they you get together and you encourage each other and you set goals and expectations. And I don't join those groups because I'm already hard on myself enough that I feel like if I join those groups, then there's more pressure. So that's just my nature, but I feel like a lot of women are like that. So maybe instead of like, you do have a standing desk, so that give yourself a pat on the back for that. And the fact that you are aware that you could use it more, well, okay, so you will, right? Some days you will, some days you won't. I feel like it's ebb and flow, right? And we have to be okay with that.
And Jamie, I was, and on a previous episode, I can recall telling people to get, if you have a desk job, to get a yoga ball, because that will force you to sit better posture, whole bit, and burn up more calories, and it's good. A lot of times people they'll stand, but they think they're burning significantly more calories. Actually, they're not. And that's why we started implementing the treadmill with it. But the problem with the treadmill is it's hard sometimes for people to maintain focus.
Yes.
And so you're down to about 1.5 miles an hour, so you're barely moving.
I can't
on
do
that
two things at
treadmill.
once. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, I've been so interested in that, but I'm like, I am not going to be able to like do that deep focus work, or I'm going to fall or something. You know, there's a story that I'm telling myself about it. So yeah.
Yeah. My first career was a ballet dancer. So you would think, because I hear myself saying, I can't do two things at once. Well, I did a million things at once with my body as a ballet dancer, but I can't do things like focus on a task on the computer and do physical movement very well. I don't know why. Do you feel like this is an easy one to answer. I know the answer to this already, but do you think that you're more tired and less willing to be active because of the sitting, like that it just feeds that cycle?
Absolutely. I notice that when I'm feeling tired at my desk, it's time for me to get up, take a little walk around, and then by the time I'm back, I have more energy than when I started.
Yes, and I find that I'm tempted. Sadly, my first thought isn't, Zero Sweat's helping with this. My first thought is, I could use a nap.
Exactly.
And when I work from home, I hate to say it, but sometimes I do that. And I shouldn't, because probably the simple solution is to get up and stand and work, or take a lap, and then I probably would feel rejuvenated. I'm telling on myself all kinds of things.
No, I'm gonna say your words back to you. You're being too hard on yourself. A nap is a great way to recharge, right?
Yeah.
I think conversely for me, when I'm tired and I'm sitting for too long, I tend to eat.
Oh.
So that's how I think I need energy. Oh, I need to,
Interesting.
eat something, and then I'll perk up. Yeah, a snack.
See, now, did you ever find that the food like makes you more tired? Because that's the problem I have with eating, is once I've eaten, I'm really ready for a nap.
Well, I think my blood sugar is going up, right? Because I'm having something I shouldn't be eating. But yeah, that's what happens for me. So that's an indication as well, when I'm grabbing for the snacks, that sitting longer is not helping me, it's harming me. But I'm also like cranking out work. So how do you reconcile and balance that?
I feel like that's your cue, Greg. How do you balance keeping yourself productive work-wise but remain active?
Good question, Jamie. It's very easy, and again, it's not disruptive. That's why people poo-poo NEAT, because it seems like it's too easy, and this can't be true. But if you think in terms of just practicing and working on posture for an hour, you're talking about 80 calories burned just for that hour. Now multiply that over the length of time that you're sitting down. So posture alone will help, if nothing else. And then you start implementing other movements, whether it's a desk push-up or a wall sit. Then you start to multiply and get more and more calories, and upper and lower body involved and engage, increasing those neurotransmitters and the dopamine, etc. Those are the things we're looking for. So while you're working, these movements should not disrupt your productivity at all, because they're subtle, they're small in nature. If I'm rolling my ankle like you are, that is not going to impede anything that you do, and it becomes reflexive. Thank you. Yes. And so you do it instinctively. So what we want to do is create an instinctive type of repetition so that we continue to do different things throughout the day and enhance movement. That's the key. Keep moving and doing more and more things without distracting or disrupting your workflow.
That makes sense. I will say, because I do struggle with multitasking, the Zero Sweat is easy. A lot of the movements, and the fact that you say we can pick any movement, that does help me, because I can't do, you know, like something for my tricep or chair dips, but I can circle my ankle and still be typing and thinking. And so just understanding that even those small movements can help us and benefit us is very encouraging, because that is something we can do and remain productive.
Right.
Okay, so do you ever feel guilty for not working out, even though you're drained? Like, I know I'm asking a question, I already know the answer. That's how I feel about a lot of these questions, but I definitely feel guilty a lot. I'm happy that I was productive,
Right.
but at the same time, I'm guilty because I didn't work out.
I think historically, yes, absolutely, right? I always feel like every day I have to choose. Am I going to get the work done? Am I going to work on myself, right? Am I going to do things for my house, or am I going to do things for my children? And so it's like this juggling act every single day. I think recently what's happened for me, and it just so happens that I met Greg and I was telling my husband about his movement, and and my husband was also telling me, like, hey, it doesn't take all of that. You don't have to spend an hour on the elliptical every day to get the results that you want. Just move around the house, get a weighted vest. And so I'm not feeling as guilty this last week. So this is all new.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to share about it except for I'm walking in my house. I'm just like intentionally walking around and not feeling like I need to be on a machine, and it's helping. So I think it's to the same point of like, even if I'm just moving my feet or anything, just move something. It helps.
Yeah.
And that has really made me feel better just about
It's empowering.
myself. Yes, absolutely. Because I can do something. I'm not limited by, well, since I didn't make it to the gym, you know, I'm a failure.
Yes, which is, I mean, that's a history for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Greg is always saying the math doesn't work, because even if I did go and work out for an hour every day, it still doesn't offset the number of hours that I'm sitting and not moving. So Zero Sweat, even though I do still work out, it's helping me kind of fill in that gap.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you ever beat yourself up?
I definitely used to. I would say I've been able to shift that mindset to where even if I'm just doing little things, I'm saying, great, good job.
That is a skill. It really is. And it's a skill that I feel like I will forever be working on. And like you said, I'm a person in progress.
Yes.
But yeah, giving ourselves grace and making the task a little bit smaller. Have you ever tried to build in movement breaks at work, but then feel pressure that you shouldn't be taking those breaks, so you don't take them because you're on a roll and you're productive?
Definitely in the past. I think what I have noticed, I don't know if this could be a trick for others, but if you're just hydrating, you're naturally going to have to get up because you have to relieve yourself. And so those bio breaks help you to get up and move. So I've been trying to drink more and more water as a way to just continue to pour into my body. But then also the benefit is it makes me get up.
I'm trying very hard not to crack up at myself, because I can't believe I'm going to admit this, but I will try not to drink water because I don't want to go to the bathroom like every 5 seconds.
No.
But when you reframe it like that, because I think I operate to a certain degree every day dehydrated.
Yeah.
I don't drink enough water. I definitely don't. And as I'm aging and in my mid 40s, I'm looking in the mirror going, like I'm losing collagen, and I'm like, oh, I need to drink more water. And then my mom has recently discovered that she is now experiencing gallbladder issues, and they are talking to her a lot more. It does have a lot to do with diet, but it also has to do with hydration. And I think I learned maybe subconsciously from my mom. Neither one of us, maybe it's just our DNA because I look like her twin, but neither one of us drink water. Like we'll eat our meal and never touch any drink, no beverage. So it's just sort of like a habit. But now that I've heard you say that, now I'm like, okay, I need to look at it as a positive thing, because if I do have to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes, then I'm getting up every 5 minutes.
Yes, killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Thank you for that. There's my takeaway for this episode. And a good reason to stay hydrated.
Yes.
Or you can do like I do. I try to, when it's in season, have a watermelon a day. So that will keep you hydrated.
Did you just, I actually already know this about you, but I'm not sure everybody heard that. Are you talking about a personal watermelon?
No, that's not even a snack. I'm talking about a real.
That is impressive.
As in like this size watermelon?
The ones that you have to be careful when you're carrying so you don't drop it.
Exactly.
Wow.
That.
One a day, huh?
One a day.
What would you say to, I know I'm getting off track here a little bit, but I have heard some people use eating watermelon as like a dietary assistant, like they use that instead of eating. And then some people will say, well, that's just too much sugar. I know it's a little off topic, but can you touch on that just a little bit? Because I do feel like you're sort of our guru and our expert. And if you're eating an entire watermelon a day, I don't believe that you're doing it to supplement food.
No, I like watermelon. But
Simple as that.
To your point, there's a glycemic index and the glycemic factor. The index is high, but the factor is not. And the difference is how, when we eat something, how is that processed by the body? And because we're not just drinking a juice. If we're drinking a juice, that's another thing. If you're drinking watermelon juice, then you're going to have a high glycemic index and factor because of the sugar. But if you add the fiber in the watermelon, then it takes it down. Now, a lot of times you can do things like a hack. So if I had something, let's say I had a salad and I had a spinach salad, for example. If I had that before having my watermelon, that slows the absorption of that sugar into my body, thus not spiking my blood sugar levels. Because we don't want that, because we go through our daily routine where we're constantly spiking our blood sugar level. Insulin comes in, takes it back down. We lose energy, we come back, we eat more. And that's why people say, eating gives me energy. Well, it does, but it just supplies too much energy, and that's stored as in terms of fat. So the key is to slow absorption. And again, if you're eating a whole fruit, and I always tell people, don't drink the fruit.
Eat the fruit.
Eat the fruit. Right. So if you have an orange, you're going to eat 1 orange. But if you're drinking, you can easily consume the equivalent of 2 to 3 oranges. That's a lot more calories, and the sugar goes directly into your system. What's not used is stored long-term as fat.
So if we are going to eat something like a piece of fruit, you would suggest eating maybe some nuts first or something to slow
like
the
that.
absorption
Exactly.
of sugar.
Now, one point they call it nature's candy, but I really discourage people from eating grapes because they're so sweet, they actually spike your levels right away. And things have changed over time because of the way we process foods, I should say. But I would tell people to avoid excessive amounts of grapes because that's nothing more than sugar.
The way we process foods and the way we grow foods.
Right.
Yeah.
And they've been, foods have been genetically modified.
Yeah.
So
I think that's why more and more of us are increasing in our intolerances. More and more of us have things we just can't tolerate or digest.
Yeah.
correct.
That's unfortunate. Well, I'm curious if you have thought about or have implemented any particular neat movements. I know you were talking about you get up and walk around your house more, but are there some things that you could implement, or they're your favorite things to implement when you're seated and you're working? Like, what are your go-to movements that maybe we could suggest to our audience to try?
For me, I always try to do like neck rolls or something to open up my shoulders because I know that I'm in this hunched posture.
Yeah.
And it definitely helps.
Yeah, okay. So rolling the shoulders in the opposite. Greg, I think I've heard you talk about that very thing for just as a result of us sitting and looking over our computer. You talk about shoulder rolls back.
Right.
To kind of open up the chest.
Shrugging. I don't know. So take your shoulders and take it up to your ears and back down. Up to your ears, hold, squeeze,
Feels good.
squeeze,
It
and
does.
take it back down. Because what happens is we start to move forward, the shoulders roll forward, exactly. And that's why we were alluding to scapular retraction earlier, but elevation as well. And that's raising your shoulder blades up and then taking them back down. And when I say back down, like a soldier would do at attention, you drive your shoulders down, chest out, squeeze your shoulder blades back together, okay? And we can do that. That's another neat move that we can do throughout the day.
That just made me chuckle a little bit. Side note, my dad used to call me the toy soldier because whenever he would scold me for something, he said I would stiffen up, my posture would get straight, and I would march straight to my room. So when you said toy soldier, I was like, oh.
You're practicing neat, just so you know.
Yes, I was doing neat. I think one of my favorite go-tos is probably squeezing particular muscles, like just making contact. Because I always feel self-conscious about what my arms look like, I will always go to my triceps and try to find them and squeeze them. And the more I do it and the more I feel that muscle contract, the better I feel. And the same with like my biceps, especially when I'm on my car, I grab my steering wheel and I'll try to get those muscles to like, it just makes me feel better because those are the body parts that bug me the most about myself. And then also I have started implementing more like abduction, like being conscientious of, because in my mid-40s, I feel like, my body is changing in maybe ways that I don't love. So I've been more conscientious of abduction.
And that is also a way that people can do subtle movements, isotension exercises or activities, not even isometric, So if you're in a meeting, if you're around a table with in a conference, you can do these things and no one knows you're doing a contraction of the glutes or the hamstrings, the quads, and you can isolate each one of those muscles. And in fact, when I'm doing meditation, what I suggest is I have people, you're lying supine, and then you can start off with squeezing the muscles of your feet for 5 seconds. Relax, breathing through your nose, out through your mouth, and we work up through the whole body, the calves, the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes, the lower back, and squeeze and relax. And by the time you're done with that, you've relaxed your entire body. And so all those anxiety drugs or hormones will start to dissipate.
Nice.
I have done that as well, the progressive muscle relaxation.
Right.
And I find that it really helps me get back into my body, especially if I'm just in my mind dissociating, that it really helps to bring me back and more alert.
Excellent.
Greg, when I owned the ballet school years back, I remember you used to do that with the kids. Ballet dancers is like a breeding ground for that type A personality, very wound tight, high-strung, perfectionist kids. And I remember you used to lay all the girls down at the end of their sessions with you and go through that whole series with them. And it was amazing to see the difference after that short little exercise of how they stood up and were so much calmer, relaxed. Some of them would even fall asleep.
Yes.
But yeah, so it does work. Do you have any favorite go-tos for sort of non-exercise activity?
I don't. But being here, I think I will be more intentional about it. I think for me, it's kind of all or nothing. Either I'm seated or I'm up. And so knowing that when I am sitting, I can still do some things
And it
is
counts.
exciting. So I have an opportunity now to implement some of these new things I'm learning from you all. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you. The movement revolution.
Yes.
I definitely that was the perfect way to end this episode. It makes my heart very happy because it did take me a little while to get on board because I was one of those all or nothing gals. And as I'm shifting my mindset, as I'm getting older and trying to give myself more grace and really starting to realize that these small things make a huge impact.
Yes.
It's empowering, it's encouraging, and I'm so grateful that you both were willing to come and talk about this movement revolution, Greg. Thank you.
Yes, and one thing I can have you do, because you're always asking for things to do.
Yes.
If you could put both hands out, palms facing each other, and rotate the body at the core clockwise and then counterclockwise. So we're the hands are up in the air, and we're just rotating in our seat with the arms, and then counterclockwise.
So I can do this, and everyone will look at me in the office like I'm crazy.
Right, but no, again, you're stretching your arms out.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
And then you're.
I didn't want to mess up the mic. And then we're all like, don't mess up the mic.
But it's something. because
Shout out to Mason.
You're engaging your core.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's-
Okay. Yeah, and I guess that's kind of like physics. When you take the workload further away from the fulcrum,
Right.
that increases the workload, right?
Exactly, and that's why you can make it small until you are gaining in strength, and then you can go ahead and exaggerate the motion. Much like, and this is the fully exaggerated portion. If you ever watch The Matrix, they dodge bullets, but they avoid that.
yeah.
They're going to try to avoid that,
Yeah.
and that's. That, of course, that's the extreme, but we don't have to do that while
You
we
don't need to dodge bullets.
No, hopefully
You
not.
need to dodge, well, I want to dodge pounds.
Amen. There you go. I'm dodging aging.
You're aging backwards. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're my new best friend. Follow me around everywhere. Okay, well, Greg, thank you. That's an excellent movement to add to our repertoire. And we will be making more posts, everyone, some shorts on YouTube. We have started a TikTok. We are also going to be on Facebook and Instagram, posting little short movements that you can implement throughout your day and keep you moving. Fight aging, fight anxiety and depression, and all the wonderful benefits of movement. Greg, this is an incredible revolution that you have started, and I can't wait to see how many people's lives it changes.
Thank you.
Keep moving, everybody.